Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
It's 3 a.m. and the sirens are going off. Another rocket attack. I've got my boots and got my ammo in my 50-pound sack. A 100 boys headed to war in this world unknown. The only peace of mind I've got are these letters from home. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. Out here in Kandahar. Well, most of us, we made it home, but we never came back. When we close our eyes at night, we hear a rocket attack. I've tried to talk and tell you about it, but it ain't the same. All these thoughts that run through my head, well, they can't be tamed. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. Out here. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. We ain't far from Kandahar.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar, a straight-up omelet bar. And now look, my former intern's tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what the f moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah, you said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Wow. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veterans Center of Excellence on this 3 August 2020. Yeah. Oh man, I gotta figure out how to fly this thing again. I got Flash on the controls with me, just looking at me, make sure I don't crash.
See, I'm looking at the controls myself. Going, how do I do this again?
Right.
I make my way to this, John.
Oh man, welcome back, everybody. Oh yeah, God, broadcasting live from the functional. All right. Well, where do I begin? Oh man,
where the hell were you?
Man, I
like disappeared. Just went,
yeah, I it's one of those things where you have to put on your invisibility cloak. You know, like the Red Skull on the Avengers. You know, when he's there trying to hand out freaking
candy to kids.
Yeah, the little stones and stuff that you got to go do and all that. You have to go knock that out. No, there were some things that were happening in life, I guess you would say. Like I said before, I'd walked down from the Mountain of Zen. If you guys have noticed that there has been some different sound to me a little bit, and now I will get into that a little bit, and then we'll get more into some stuff, just to see what I've been up to. So this is the Monday edition. We're broadcasting on all the platforms except for Mixer now. Somebody said not to, we're not going to do a Mixer anymore, so we kind of like popped off on the Mixer, and then we're there. What's up, guys?
We miss you, Mixer. We miss you a lot.
I know we miss the mixing machine of Mixer. So sad to see them go. They assisted us as well with our presence on social media. Let's see. Let's go back a little bit. It's just been busy. Everything's been going on. I just want to say real quick, hearts and prayers go out to the family members of the Marines and the sailor that were lost in the AAV accident.
I mean, it's terrible.
That is,
I think they've called off the search, and they're no longer. Right now, they're not doing any more amphibious assault like training.
Correct.
And it's pretty sad. I think there's 8 that still have not been accounted for, and it looks like they're going to have to call it off and it's sad. I tell people all the time, it's like, my wife will be like, be careful. And I had a friend of mine was like, oh, they're just going to training. I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to a range. And you've ever been to a range with a bunch of knucklehead reservists, But I mean, it is what we do is dangerous. And while a lot of times it's not as dangerous as it can be, we still do dangerous stuff. And, I know these guys, that's not how they were expecting to go out, but my heart goes out to them and their families because it's just terrible.
So the AAV launched into the ocean and took on water, and immediately started to take on water and sank to the bottom of the ocean, trapping 8 crew members, 7 Marines and a sailor. So just real quick again, just our hearts go out to the Marine families and the Navy family. So I wanted to get that. Yeah, exactly, Holly. The oldest was 23 years old. That's kids, man. Kids. So anyways, like I said, I put on my cloak and disappeared into the shadows. I walked up, I climbed the Mountain of Zen, went around, and I'm not even drinking coffee right now. I'm actually quite, I'm not saying I'm hyped up right now, but I'm kind of like, I'm glad that I'm back on. So I guess I got my motivation stuff going on. I don't know where to start. I can go back. I can go back a few weeks, a couple months. I'd say let's go back to the end of April, beginning of May. There's something that I said, and I'm pretty sure you guys might have understood or might have heard on air me allude to some small hints. And I was talking about myself, and I was talking about some close personal friends that I know. And it affected my friends and my family and some personal relationships that I had about COVID and the derailing of lives. The point to where it started to, a lot of life plans started to fall apart on my side. A lot of life plans started falling apart on people that I knew that I had relationships with or involvements with on business relationships. and personal friendships and relationships that could not go forward because of COVID, because of the lockdowns, because of the limited amount of movements that the Army would let individuals do, let me do, let anybody else do. The states that I was looking at to venture off to assist, they were all locked down as well. So it pretty much started a trap. You're gonna have to excuse again. I the whole Corona stuff, the whole COVID stuff at first was kind of like, hey, is this happening? Is this not happening? Is it real? Is it not real? Can we be afraid? Can we not be afraid? Can we discuss it? It wasn't until maybe a few weeks after things started coming apart, with a lot of plans and a lot of things happening, that it hit me. It hit me in a personal level that I never thought it would have hit me, nor that I would expect this type of hit. There's only a few people that know about this. Actually, a lot of there's a very minuscule amount of people that fell out. And again, it's not because I didn't want to go out and tell them, but the circumstances of them being able to help when it happened they were not able to because of what they were going through. And I can't blame them, and I can't fault them for what they were going through. So a couple weeks, I'd say, then let's move in from April, May timeframes. Things really started going to shit. In like I said, in my personal relationships. It affected the point to where I started to lose focus. I started to lose a little bit of whatever, because, in my mindset, in my mentality, and the way I think, is that I have a plan for everything. Even if the plan fails, I have a plan of a plan of a plan of a plan of excellence. You know what I mean? I have a plan. If my plan A doesn't work out, then I go to plan B. If a piece of plan B doesn't work out, then I'll throw in a plan C and a plan D. So a lot of the stuff that was involved was not starting to sync up. It was now starting to look at whatever, to the point to where outsiders started to notice. Then that's when the personal stuff hit me. I would say it was a Thursday, and I received a phone call that the child care center that Baby Ice goes to had somebody that was suspected of having COVID. It was, if you just can imagine the fear, the what the hell that was running through your head of having your kid being affected by it, and having individuals that would have considered that you would have thought lackadaisical when it came to some of the prevention and stuff. Mind you, now the states, again, I was one of the states that was locked down, so it was a lot of it. So you got a phone call saying the Baby Ice could have possibly come in somebody who was maybe susceptible of having COVID. Well, okay, so let's wait to this here, and let's find out. Let's not jump. Let's not work to. Let's not react. It was not something you wanted to react to or not react to, whatever. So a few days later, it turned out that the individual who was tested positive with Rona was tested. So immediately, because Baby Ice had come in contact with the individual, it immediately freaked me the hell out, because you can't fight it. So immediately, obviously, it was like, freaking, what do? You got to quarantine. You got to do this. You got to do that, and all this stuff. I'm dealing with the situations when I'm calling up the VA and I'm calling up the military hospitals. I'm retired, and the VA was like, well, the protocol is that you gotta quarantine. I mean, obviously, you and the kid got to quarantine. And I was like, okay. Well, now what? So you got the VA said, hey, make sure you take your temperatures. Take your temperature twice a day. Make in the morning and the evening, and then make sure you're good to go. Well, what's the average? What was the average of temperatures? And they're like, well, if if you had a temperature of about 105.5, then you can then you can, you know, you're then you got to come in. I'm like, well, where do I got to go to? Like, you got to go to urgent care. I'm like, okay. So I called the Army hospital, and I was like, what do I do? Well, you got to come into the COVID containment area, and you and your kid have to be in here, and then you have all this. Now, mind you, now some of the installations that we've had, you know, they have. I'm gonna tell you right now, we suck at it. We suck at the Rona containment. We suck at all this shit. So it turns out the kid is okay, and so we're quarantined. We're quarantined for a little bit, and actually we're quarantined for the whole fucking time. And he is not affected by it. As a matter of fact, his I don't know, maybe, I don't know, got him a little hyper or something like that, or gave him the terrible twos or whatever. I'm like, okay, all right. So then what about me? Within about 2-3 days, I started having issues with, I guess you would say they were the symptoms. I started having, you know, a little bit of a, not really so much as a chest congestion, or not so much of whatever. Voice was going in and out, and I had to clear my voice a lot and all that, and I just thought maybe I had dust or some shit. The fevers, I had, you know, 100. I had typical. I guess now I'm I don't know, maybe I'm asymptomatic now or whatever. But now I got temperatures now of over 100 degrees now. I'm 100 degrees all the time now for some reason. It's weird. So that happened for like about 2 weeks. Towards the end of that, and I say this, it's about towards the middle of, now mind you, I was still broadcasting. Mind you, I was still going through all this stuff. I was like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and you know, I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. I think I need to, and of course I had other people who helped me out while I was quarantined, so I thank everybody who helped me out while I was out and I was quarantined up, and I appreciate that. You know, people bringing me food, dropping it off at my porch, asking if they wanted to change, you know, my oil or some, you know, yeah, I don't know, whatever, just little things. I mean, well, my whole point at the time was to take care of the kid. My fear was that I was going to have some sort of, you know, whatever happened to me, and, you know, me and the no one was going to be there to help me with the boy. And I mean, I did, like I said, I did get some help. So then at this time I was like, you know what? You know, my mind's kind of like out of it. My mind's not really into it right now. I'm still trying to, you know, do stuff here for WTF Nation Radio, WTF Moments. I'm still trying to do some other stuff. So I figured, you know, I think, and then that's when I was told, hey man, how about you just take the break, dude? How about you just take a break? And how about you just chill? And it just really kind of, you know, right. I got people telling me that I needed to, you know, when you have somebody that you think you're okay, you know, you think you're okay. You see yourself being okay, but someone's telling you you're not good, or someone's telling you need to be, you know, hey man, maybe you should chill out for a second, take a break and clear your mind and all that. It's like, you know what? All right, did. So I took the break. I took a break. And if anything else, I ended up getting, I don't want to say a little bit more busy. I mean, I did get busy, I guess, with some other stuff. I did. Thanks, Franco. Hey, Holly. Hey, Bailey. It was up Crew Times. I didn't get banned from Twitch. No, I didn't. So I was kind of like, you know, I needed to.
Not yet.
Yeah, really. I needed to take this break. So I'm thinking, so what am I going to do when I'm taking this break? What am I going to? Well, what am I focused on? What am I, you know? What am I going to do? What am I supposed to do? Now at that time, Joe Pacino, Colonel Joe Pacino from 18th Airborne Corps, was hey, we're doing this Twitter novel, right? You wanna help out, do some stuff. You do some of the stuff right here and all that, and so I got involved. With a Twitter novel with 18th Airborne Corps and some other individuals in in the working group, senior leaders of the military too. And it was fascinating working with the Center of Military History, working with the Combined Arms Center at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and it was an eye-opening experience. I got to work some history stuff. I got to exercise my brain a little bit, working on some knowledge, and it was a good push. It was actually one of those good things. Well, then it was time for me to travel. Then it was like, I'm gonna go out and about, and be one with the, like Ace Ventura, be one with the animals and shit. Just walk around and and have have little birds flying around me and deer. Yeah,
shoot them and eat them.
No. I went to go visit different installations. I went to go, hang out with some installations and hang out with some friends. I did a little thing hanging out at Fort Gordon, Georgia, visiting the Cyber Center of Excellence. You might have seen some posts during that time, around the 4th of July weekend, and then there was the change of command at Fort Benning, with General Donahoe. It was like around what? It was like the 17th of July or something like that. So all that in dealing with that stuff, and I was like, okay, it's now time to get involved in all that, kind of get a little picked up. I know Spanky and Mom were kind of like, would be like, they would send me messages and emails were piling up and all that. And then that's kind of like one of the things that I kind of, picked up, and it's time to, I guess I got to come back. But there was a lot of things that I've learned while I was traveling. There was a lot of things that I learned.
I didn't send you shit.
Well, no, you didn't.
I was like, he's somewhere yelling at some private for being on grass. I'm just gonna let it be.
Yeah. No.
Goddamn Scooter, get off my grass.
No, actually, I wasn't really focused on that. No, I was just really thinking about I'm going about the country, going about the talking to people. Listening to dialogue and listening to to some to other podcasters, listening to other listen to musings, listen to speeches, listening to doing a little bit more reading, just kind of like getting my brain kind of just more of a foundation of thinking that right now there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the country that people have issues communicating with each other, that it's just not to the point where it's a reasonable person discussion. You have a discussion with somebody, and you talk to somebody, you have a question, or you're asking whatever. I'm noticing that there's an extra comment that has to come out just because you state something using the reasonable person methodology. If you're asking this question about something, or you're talking about something, or you bring up an example, like when you say, hey, please don't, it's like when blah 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 blah, and make sure you don't do this, and make sure that you don't do that, and then the individual goes, well, I don't do that. No, I didn't say you did that. I just said that while in discussing with somebody, sometimes people, I'm not saying I did. No, dude, I didn't say you did it. I'm not directing it to you. I'm not directing the question. I'm not directing the. Never mind. You know what I mean? It's now gotten to the point to where when we speak to somebody in normal back and forth, we can't even have a civil conversation with anybody. And mind you, like these are just amongst my travels, without somebody understanding what you're coming from, or taking it what you're saying out of context. If you're asking a question to somebody, you get a question, you get an answer back, but there's got to be an attachment to a comment to it. They immediately think that you're talking about them. They immediately say that you're not supposed to be wearing a mask when you should be wearing a mask. It immediately becomes a back and forth. It's now to the point to where intellectuals and individuals. I mean, like I said, some of the move and things that I had kind of mess up on me was, Kansas State University. That was a school that I'm thinking the only reason why Kansas K-State would be good for me was because working in digital media, it's digital media. There is no, if you tell, like right now where you're listening to Facebook Live, or you're listening to Twitter, on Twitter, and you're listening to us on YouTube, there are specific sequences that you have to conduct in order to get it to broadcast. You must do something. The computer's not going to come back and ask you a question. It's not going to say, well, nah, maybe maybe you need to do it like this, or maybe you need to. No, I want to broadcast something, and I want to use this on the technical aspect to broadcast something out. AI, computers, don't do that shit. Humans now will immediately assume that you're talking about them, immediately assume that you're not going to give a fuck, immediately assume that you're oversensitive about something, when it's not the case. When you're discussing something with somebody and you're asking a question with somebody, and this is, mind you, just like right now, just out and about, when I say something, it doesn't mean that I'm attacking you. I'm just literally going back and forth in discussion, I mean, like I said, it was really great to do the historical stuff with the Atomic Age Army with the 18th Airborne Corps, because it's history. And nobody could refute that, because it was in, I was working the multimedia aspect and the public affairs, how the public affairs shaped the Atomic Army, how they broadcasted 878 episodes of a TV show on CBS and NBC called The Big Picture, that was literally that was explaining to the American people what the Army was doing. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. You can't argue with that. You can't say, no, that's not what the context of what was saying. That's not. So now, in doing that, there was individuals that I was able to speak to, that was able to, like, again, using the reasonable, a reasonable person discussion. Academia is not becoming that way now. I don't even want to know if I want to go to school, or if I want to attend a university, or I want to use the GI Bill for this, due to the fact that now I have to worry. I want to get the education from an academic. I want a professor to teach me something, to educate me. I don't want him or her to have to fucking dumb it down for me and speak it to the highest sensitivity of the class. Give me the raw shit. Give me the real deal. I want to have that discussion of what happened in history. I mean, it's got to be specific about it, of course. I don't want it to be I don't want it to be something to work. Excuse me. If you're teaching me math and there's a math problem, I don't want you to think that you have to be sensitive to me to teach a math problem, or teach you something about algorithms or working with digital media stuff. I want to know. I want to have this information. It's gotten to the point to now you can't ask anybody any questions without somebody getting sensitive to why you're asking it, to why somebody feels that you have an agenda when you're being genuine.
It's scary out there.
It is.
I mean, I've thought, I've always, and I tell my wife, I'm either going to open a bar when I retire, or I'm going to become a teacher, because I love teaching history. And I've always thought, I was like, maybe my degrees don't really mesh well, even though I just need a teaching certification. So I've thought about going back to school, at least getting another associate's maybe in something in like history. But like you mentioned, I'm so worried about the school atmosphere. Even, I want to know facts. I don't want to know, they were probably thinking this. They were probably, no, give me the facts. What happened? Not what you think happened. What do you feel? And I just thought, every time I start looking, what would be a good school to go and just get an associate's in history? I've got all or I guess I could get a bachelor's because I got all the credentials and everything. But still, like, what can I do? And everything scares me, because I really don't want to deal with all of that, that's happening. And it could be just in my mind that I'm going to run into teachers that are just like trying to give me everything from their perspective instead of just, teaching me, things I didn't know. But, you got to worry about that stuff, especially if you're going to spend thousands of dollars with the GI Bill in order to get those schools.
Well, I didn't at all look at it how it was affecting as much. It wasn't until I started, like I said, had all my plans start to fall to shit. And it was the fact that individuals were getting mad at specific situations that were beyond their control. And when I would ask questions about it, or when I asked, hey, individuals about how they were going to deal with it, I got attacked. I felt like it was like my fucking fault or some shit. That, look, dude, I'm gonna help you out. What do you need? I can help you out with this. It has lost the fucking faith. It's almost like this whole fucking pandemic to people, and its reaction to the way the government's handling it, and the way society's handling it, and the way social media is fucking just goddamn about it. You've lost fucking hope, and didn't put faith on individuals that you should have. It's really, again, shown a lot. The it really has shown people how they are when it comes to this stuff. There was individuals that just didn't get that fucking chance while they were going through their stuff, and I couldn't help them. What was frustrating was me is that they were going through some situations that their business was failing, or they were having issues with their business, and it killed me that I couldn't do anything. I could not help them. And to me, I want to help. I like helping people out. I want to help. The whole thing, the whole gamut. Actually, if people know me, I really suck at getting gifts. I'm fucking pretty, But I will assist as much as I can. A lot of it was, I think, and this is just my own assessment, that I think that had faith in themselves and faith in whoever was around them to help them, I think they would have fared better. They would have done a little bit better than excuse me. They would have done a little bit better than what they thought. I was joking around about I have a meme that I posted, just joking around that it's a picture of a dude, and he's got a knife shoved in his chest. And the meme says, when you expect the worst and the worst happens, but you're happy because you expected it correctly. That's the way it was, kind of like it was part of the plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, there were contingencies that I could have helped with, that nobody wanted to listen. That was part of my frustration of the whole thing, was not wanting to listen, not wanting to budge or got worried. It's the worst when you have an expected outcome of an expected course of action. Again, what I'm saying is don't always have one course of action. It's like you're firing a weapon, you keep shooting, always have more than one course of action. You kind of laugh, and I was telling a friend this. You laugh at the course of action because you knew it could happen. It's and usually in the worst courses of action that has happened to me, I've seen happen, and I will say a lot of it to me, it's usually the course of action that relieves the true colors of the effect. And not to mention, it reveals the true colors of those involved. Hey, you didn't have to do that, or I could have helped out, or I could have been doing this. And the same thing with me. Did I have lose a little bit of faith, a little bit about it? Possibly. I don't fucking know. I will never know. I will never have that answer, because I never had that reciprocated back to me. I never had that given back to me to where we could have discussed it or had a discussion of what happened to get to where we could get, I guess you would say, to the promised land, to get to the Mountain of Zen. Things would have been a little bit different. But there was a lot of attitude with it, to where that had come along with it, with the vitriol feeling of what was happening during the the COVID drama, what was happening with what was happening in their own personal lives, to where I can ruck with you, I can keep ruck with, but if you don't want to ruck with me anymore, and then I turn around and they're no longer rucking with me. I mean, I want to use like military euphemisms, because I've been I'm kind of like, well, whatever. So then it came to this to talk about the VA and stuff like that. While I was going through this, the VA was asking me, "Hey, are you okay?" I will say this: I was surprised that they knew that I had possibly come in contact with somebody who had been tested positive for COVID. And they said, "Are you okay?" So I would get updated. It was kind of surprising to me after they were kind of like, you might want to come in, you want this. It almost seemed like they were kind of avoiding the answer of, do I need to take a test? Can I be tested? And all that. No answers to that. No, just you need to be quarantined if you're not feeling good. If you have, there were specific criteria that I had to hit to get to be seen by the VA. But there was also there was a couple times where I did have to go into the VA for other things, and that there were individuals there that needed to be talked to, that needed to be. I would sit down in the waiting room and going through some of my VA stuff, and I had to. There was a guy that was literally not doing too well, that was not handling it all right, and I was only there for a little bit, but he was just there. He wasn't there for an appointment. I mean, he was there for an appointment, and his appointment was going to be, but he was there early, but he just wanted to think about a lot of stuff. And so, dude, and he knows that I'm talking about this. it was kind of a thing that the guy had an issue with, how it was supportive to not supportive, to be supportive about mask wearing, to be supportive about how people are attacking each other, how people are going off on each other about wearing a mask. The guy didn't want to like make a big scene about stuff. He didn't seem like he was that kind of a person, but he asked me, he's like, well, how do you feel about the mask wearing stuff? I was like, well, it's kind of like, if it's got a mask, you got a mask. If you don't get a mask, then you don't get a mask. But there was also, I remember going back to the original rules that happened back in the day when they said specifically that if you were going to have a you were gonna have an issue with social distancing, then you put a mask on. If you were going to have the 6 feet, if you couldn't, the 6 feet stuff that pretty much every country has been established. That's the way I felt. I mean, that's the way, even with me possibly getting, the Rona myself and Baby Ice, which he's doing okay. Thank you guys for the messages. He is doing okay. Oh my God, he's doing okay. It was one of those things to where, it had an effect on individual psyche that I was don't take this the wrong way. I was actually fascinated at the psych reaction to it. I mean, I'm a psyop guy, to the reaction of it, to the whole point to where I started listening to more. I mean, I might go to school to be a psychologist or something like that, because it was really fascinating to kind of behold the actions of everyone's reaction to what's happening. I don't want to sit there and tell anybody they're right or wrong for what they feel about wearing a fucking mask or not wearing a mask. But I'm definitely not going to walk up to them and tell them they fucking suck because they're wearing one. Or I'm not going to be a fucking Karen and tell them that they suck for not wearing one. It's one of those things to where, everyone started losing their shit about how businesses are and all that. It got to the point to where I sat back and I was like, you are really going off on somebody telling you some kid wearing a mask. And these were the same individuals that just a few weeks earlier were telling everybody to support small businesses. And those small businesses were telling you to wear a mask, but you got pissed off and called them a piece of shit and wrecked their coffee shop because you're being told to wear a mask by the small business that you supposedly said you fucking supported, flag waving and all that other shit, right?
Everyone supports something until it inconveniences them,
right?
I've we've talked about this, and I'm at the point. It's like, look, we've talked about masks. You're gonna do what you're gonna do, but I had somebody as I was walking into the Costco. I got a new mask. It's one that didn't have me. I used to have one that was like the bands had to go around my head. This one was the normal, goes on the ears. And as I'm putting it from my left to my right, this lady's coming to my right, and I'm still a good 15 yards away from the front, from the entrance, and this lady starts, you need to put on a mask. I don't understand why people like you don't get it. And I literally just turn as I have the mask and I hook it on my ear. I'm like, ma'am, I think you need to go and drink some coffee or something, because you not today. And people are so ready to get on people in people's business, businesses. And I went to a gym, and like Planet Fitness is like, hey, starting August 1st, you gotta wear a mask. And people losing their mind, losing it in the thing. And then they finally had to come out like, we meant like if you're not working out. It's like, I mean, we want to be able to do these things. We want to be able to go to the gym. We want to be able to go get our tattoos. We want to be able to go eat at the fancy restaurants that we want to. But nobody wants to be inconvenienced, and then they immediately turn on them. It's just
right.
It's crazy how quickly people just go, nope, never mind, burn the place down.
Right. Well, I mean, let's get me started on the fucking on the rioting and protesting stuff. Me and the kid got caught up in one. It wasn't really a rally. It wasn't really a protest. It was just no big deal. I just sat there and fucking okay, whatever. And they walked by and all that. I didn't, to go back with the mask thing. I didn't expect everybody to start losing their shit on each other and started going off on the way they did, being so divisive and all that stuff. These are the same small businesses that individuals were rallying behind when some guy didn't want to bake a fucking cake. for his religious reasons. But then all of a sudden, when it came to that same individual probably saying wearing a mask, you lost your shit. And I'm thinking, God, are we? I mean, honestly, is it really bothering you? Does it really care if you are not the patron of such establishment? Now, I understand that then there's also, when you think about it, now that like I said, I don't know. I had, as a matter of fact, I had a VA appointment just recently before I came on air. And they said, well, nothing happened to, I guess you're good. I mean, if anything else, you want to donate blood or something like that, you possibly had it and didn't have any effect, and your health probably contributed to this, and the medication you're probably taking it on, and blah, 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 blah. So they were giving me a bunch of factors again to not get tested, which rolls into the, why doesn't the government want to test people? Why doesn't the government why does it got to be fucking, why does it got to be politicized? The last time I checked, this is a fucking virus, and virus isn't holding no politics. Just look at how it affected Herman Cain. That was out of the fucking blue. Over the weekend, Herman Cain died from complications of the Rona. He was seen in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with no mask on. Now, obviously, there was other contributing factors. He just recovered from fucking cancer therapy, so he was kind of like, what do you, how do you gamble that? Did you gamble? I mean, would I have gambled something like that? I don't fucking know, dude. At this point to where you're looking at everybody going off on you, and you're looking at individuals that I fucking swear I checked. They were not, they weren't part of the medical field, and they said that mask isn't going to work, or a mask is going to work. And I'll be honest with you, there's individuals who are probably wearing masks that got the Rona. I'll say that right now. There were probably individuals that got the mask, had a mask on, that probably caught the Rona.
Oh yeah, that shit's definitely not foolproof.
Right.
Everyone, the people are acting like, well, if you would wear a mask, butterflies will shoot from your ass and you will be safe. It's like, no, it's a preventative measure, just like getting a flu shot doesn't mean you're not going to get the flu.
Well,
just like,
they did ask
washing your hands doesn't mean you're not going to have any germs on you. It's a preventative measure, so people assume, well, if it doesn't work 100%, it doesn't work.
It was funny is because they looked at it.
They're stupid.
Yeah, I was looking at it like, yeah, exactly. Cause says that in Texas that can get tested free of charge, right? Yeah. Why weren't they say? Didn't know there were states that are not freely testing? Why aren't there states that are out there that are not freely testing about all this stuff? I to go back and forth on this stuff, to go back on all this, and had it affect me? Did it affect me a little bit? But I guess, I don't know, maybe it affected my personal life, maybe it affected some things going on with me. But I didn't really see everyone needed to have to fucking go nuts about this shit. The last time I checked, I don't remember getting Ebola. I don't remember getting H1N1 when all this stuff was happening. We were all talking about SARS and laughing about it, right? Remember that? You remember when we were talking about that shit back in the day? When
I remember my stepdaughter got N1H1,
and yeah, it was
a scary time.
Yes,
and my wife is a OCD, washes hands. Like, we leave a store, we hand sanitize. Like, we kept, we're she's very safe. She's way better than I am, and still my daughter got swine flu. Like, it was pretty scary. And I mean, sometimes this shit happens, and we just go, oh wow, she didn't do this, so she must have got it.
Did you think that it was, a lot of it was affected to? I mean, I don't want to sound like fucking Thanos or some shit, but as if
stop fucking snapping.
Oh shit!
I can't handle any more 2020 shit. I feel like Thanos is keep like, he's trying to make it. I can't get the right fucking snap to just get half it, and then we got like fucking weird ass cicadas and giant hornets, and fucking now we got a hurricane. It's like, God damn it, dude!
But I don't remember. I mean, a lot of it. Because I'll be honest with you, our Congress,
fucking frogs are gonna fall from the sky.
Exactly.
Well, with this damn hurricane coming, there's a good chance it'll fall.
There's a hurricane happening.
There's a hurricane happening.
There's a hurricane.
Yeah, my power's already kind of flickering here.
There's a hurricane.
I'm like, screw it. I've got whiskey and I've got kerosene lamps. Let's do this.
Oh man.
It's just Thanos from another world, just like snapping. Like I snap this way, nothing happens. Meanwhile, on Earth.
Meanwhile, back on Earth,
fucking koalas are on fire. What is happening,
dude? I know that was fucking psycho. Oh yeah, we had the Australian fires. I will say this.
I know it's been a decade and a year.
I will say this.
Forgot that Australia pretty much burnt to shit.
Yeah, I will say that it's unfortunate that it almost seems like it's funny that it went back and forth to what was the disaster, what was the thing that was going to cause. It almost was a distraction, and I'm going to say this because we have a few more minutes left. It was almost all of us was a distraction to let everybody know that there's a goddamn pedophile fucking ring going on in Hollywood that nobody wants to fucking admit to.
I will admit that. Bill Clinton, we watched your dirty ass.
All the stuff that's happening with human trafficking and the bubble is starting to expand with Maxwell being, we're probably gonna get cut off, dude. I guarantee you.
Protect her. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I guarantee we're probably gonna get just by me saying that last minute.
I don't care who she outs. I have no allegiance to any pedophile. I have no political allegiance to any pedophile. They could, you know what? They could have been like Derek Jeter. I know it's not Derek Jeter, but I'm just using this for example. Derek Jeter, my idol. They comes up on that list. Fucking burn Derek Jeter. Like,
right.
That's where I'm at with all this. Like this, done. Like I don't care if they're a politician. I don't care if they're an actor. I do not care if they. I don't
understand why they're not.
If they're on this list, bye.
I don't understand why no one's talking about it. I don't understand why nobody wants to bring it up. I don't understand why.
With the English kid and just like have a pedophile colony.
Yeah, no, I mean like there's like serious implications. There's some big names on this shit. Mm-hmm. Conveniently, Tom Hanks changed his citizenship to be Greek. What the fuck's up with that?
It was funny.
Was it funny?
It's funny how people are starting to like. You see the power shifting. How Oprah was on the thing talking about pretty much. While the thing was a little misleading with the title, she wasn't outright saying that, the kids like it, but it was sounding fucking close to that. Like it's starting to sound like people are starting to become pedophile apologists, and I'm like, oh god,
don't get me wrong,
it is gonna happen. If we have Oprah doing a pedophile apologist thing, well, the kids have to get excited. So it's like, oh no, God,
no, I'm gonna tell you what. Right now, there's just a lot of things that are just being.
Your O magazine.
They're just being a lot of stuff to where everyone's getting attacked with. I'm kind of glad that this is my fucking job as WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. You're not gonna cancel me out of this shit. I don't understand.
Hell no, you ain't shutting us down, you dirty
I don't
bastard.
understand. I don't understand why everyone's protecting all these Hollywood elites, and there's individuals on Twitter that are deleting their fucking comments and stuff because people are taking screenshots of it, and I'm thinking, no one's just
remember the French Revolution? Well, it's about to be the pedophile revolution. We're about to decapitate all of them.
Dude, it just. I'm just confounded.
Hollywood is about like California is just about to be like pushed from Nevada. Like Nevada's about to be like, all right, bye.
Speaking of it, there we go. And I think we're getting cut off on Facebook because I'm seeing some traffic.
Or even Oregon's like, I don't know who the fuck those people are.
Exactly.
Bye, California. Like I'm sorry. Like this is one of those things that if like I keep a very level head on a lot of stuff. I know here I can be a little rambunctious, but in my IRL time, I'm pretty chill. I take things, I don't take things for face value. I think about it. This is one of those things like, hell no. Like if somebody ever touched my kid, I have no problem saying I would end up in jail. Like I know for a fact that I wouldn't be able to keep my demeanor because hell no, I'm not going to. And I tell you what, I've had to like pull my wife kind of back from the edge of QAnon and conspiracy theories because some of the stuff, like, have you seen the Wayfair?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, scandal? Dude. Yeah.
And eBay had something on that I saw that had like $15,000, and it had like this little Chinese girl on there, and I was showing her. I was like, because she got some friends who have admitted to being QAnon, and I had to tell her like, okay, I need you to stop talking to them. But when it comes to the Wayfair stuff, I'm even looking at going,
do you think
it makes sense because I've seen shit like that. I mean, never gave it an.
What I understand is that what's the I mean, don't get me wrong. I know what the apprehension is that there's a lot of people that are behind the scenes. Hey, we're gonna take a break right quick. Believe it or not, when I said Facebook is fucking with us, no shit, I'm seeing
10-4 times is coming back for this shit.
We'll be right back. Everyone, go ahead and go get some shots, drink some coffee, or go use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Is this where you draw the line? 'Cause it's so sad. Tell me where you lost your faith. Is it so bad? Couldn't see it in your face. And it's so sad. I'll wait until you come back. Come back down to me. I'll wait
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Next thing, I'm still continuing my welcome back. I guess you'd say welcome back speech or something like that. I did not, Chris. I don't know. Like I said, I know there's Rona stolen valor out there too. There's people that like are taking donations and shit, saying that they got the Rona. And it turns out they never had it. So I don't want to say it. I've never been tested. I was just, like I said, my son was exposed to it. He came home, and then it was one of those things to where it was well, gonna be quarantined. Yeah, but what about that test? Yeah, about that test. Don't worry about it. That's why we told you to quarantine. Yeah, I'd really like to know if me and my son are like, we're tested for the Rona. No, it's okay. It's okay. Anyways, so in continuing with my travels and talking with some individuals and talking with the veteran community and talking with some like I said, some psychologists, not to be seen, but in discussions and interacting with the human mind and stuff. There was a lot of stuff that's happening currently in the older generation of veterans and the younger version. I would say the younger. I don't know what's the, I think like 30s or 40s or something like that. There's a lot of disinformation being spread about. Disinformation being spread about. Causes being of the Rona. We all fucking know it came from China. We all fucking know it was the fucking Wuhan virus. We all know COVID-19, coronavirus, novel coronavirus, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There's no that's not in dispute. But what trips me out is that all the events that happened with the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement and the protests and the closures of churches and the government looking like an ass doing it. If the government's going to tell me that it's okay to protest, then it's pretty much okay for you to fucking open up a goddamn church. Ooh, I shouldn't even said it like that. I said goddamn church. Am I gonna like burn in hell or something like that? Am I gonna meet my maker or something like that for saying goddamn church? It's almost to the point to where now the movements of everyone's issues have now been foreshadowed by everything else of what the government's doing. You got government officials that were once lauded, they were once told that they were the experts in their field, now being denounced because nobody likes to hear bad news. And these individuals that like to throw statistics out and graphs and all that. These are fucking doctors and shit. The doctors that are pro, the doctors that are against. They're going back and forth. I kind of find it that the veteran community has got involved in a lot of the spreading of disinformation. It's not to the point to where it's a, see, look what's happening. Antifa's destroying fucking monuments. And they're going through information, they're going through posts that have happened years ago that just happened to have interjected it without sourcing any of the memes back in time. I'm just flabbergasted that the most intelligent people that I fucking know, the most smartest people that I know are falling for this bullshit fucking disinformation that just happens to be fucking coincidentally planted. Like, I want to know where these memes come from. You know, I want to know where some of these false information. Look what Antifa did. And it was the Murphy Monument, the fallen seal. You know what I mean? Its fucking monument got toppled. It didn't happen during the protest. It didn't happen during the riots. Someone would say, "Well, no, I was looking for this one." Yeah, okay, that one, yes, did happen. But you're adding and feeding to the fucking troll machine when you fucking shouldn't. Disinformation, disinformation and psychological operations is my jam, son. This is a fucking MO.
Welcome to WTF Nation Radio.
No, we're not slapping people, are we? I mean, are we not, or not slapping, or whatever? No. You know, the whole thing of the whole, this is disinformation. Foreign actors, China and Russia, are involved in getting involved into the veteran community by injecting their shit to this stuff. To people to say that it's not happening is not whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. It's kind of funny watching the guys that are falling for it and actually running with it and all that. I've had some friends unfriend me because I told them that their posts are full of shit because that's not what happened. Which I don't care. And then they'll call me up and they're like, "Oh, you're doing fucking embarrassing me on Facebook." I'm like, "What are you doing embarrassing yourself on Facebook?" You fucking posted a meme. You posted a meme that had nothing to that had nothing to do with what's going on with the current protests. You know, we talk about disinformation. We talk about that. I've had individuals that tell me that I was fucking wrong when I say about stuff like that. When it comes to disinformation, military deception, psychological operations, and I'm like, what did you fucking say? Okay. You know, it was almost like what's his name from what was the Tim Curry's character on Legend, the Lord of Darkness. Yes. The fluidic movements of his acting as the Lord of Darkness, as Satan, obviously, and the way he moved and the way he moved almost
in a very young Tom Cruise.
Yeah, in a very real young Tom.
He was so cute. He didn't get much taller than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's maybe I was taller than Tom Cruise, but anyways, I got to be quiet because we're trying to get to the Top Gun premiere that we didn't get to go to. Anyways, but some of the things, just like it was philosophical what he was talking about. Right? One of the things that he said that it was one of my, you know, I listening to reading philosophy. Like I said, I did a lot of reading when I was on a break. One of the things I watched Legend. I saw the movie Legend. I was like, oh wow, that was fucking cool. Blah blah blah. And he said, dreams of youth are the regrets of maturity. Dreams are my speciality. Through dreams, I influence mankind. Oh, fuck, dude. Change the dreams with memes. Memes are my speciality. Through memes, I influence mankind. Now listen to these are memes. They're the latest meme that got my fucking attention was a meme that was posted of a friend, members of the MARSOC community, because in Special Operations Command we're tight-knit individuals who lost their lives in a helicopter crash at Elgin Air Force Base, and he posted a picture and it says, "Hey, we won't forget, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yep." I threw a little emoji of the care emoji. Yep, that's fucked up, blah blah blah. Then he posted something else saying that this is not what happened in California. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? What? Something happened? I was trying to see what the connection was. But then Chad Garland posted on Twitter that there is a veteran group out there that posted a meme that said, "You individuals, what was that? The individuals that died in a plane crash." I gotta get the fucking the meme story down a little bit. Hang on, I don't want to fucking. I want to stand correct when it comes to this. But basically, it was the the whole country would be in mourning if this had been some football team that got killed in a plane crash, but it was your true heroes that died in an accident on board a landing craft. And they posted this meme with the wrong dudes. They posted the meme with the wrong dudes. I'll be honest with you, some of this exploitation shit, it's way too sophisticated, and it's way implanted so much to be that it's not foreign. I mean, some of the way that it's been written and all that stuff, and how it's being described or something like that, I'm just shocked that individuals immediately start smashing on the fucking likes once it had the whole country would be in mourning if this had been a football team that got killed in a plane crash. What the fuck is up with that? They're not a football team. They were fucking. There were guys from MARSOC that got killed in a helicopter crash. You know, if you're in the veteran community and you're spreading this fucking bullshit, you're just as fucking guilty as causing the divisiveness and hate that's out there. Now, don't get me wrong. Farming memes and growing memes that talk about personal issues and life and army life and stuff like that. Yeah, who doesn't throw fucking memes like that? Everyone loves a good meme, right? I am a meme DeLorean. I don't mind doing this shit. I don't mind throwing some memes up and joking about units and all that. Everyone has their pointed methods of how to do stuff. But when you want to sit there and follow I want to know where these memes come from. And again, that was part of some of my friends during this period of my break getting mad at me because I'm like, where'd you get that from? Where did you get that from? Oh, that was forwarded to me. Where did they get that from? What the fuck you want me to do? You want me to go through my shit? No, I just want to fucking find out because I want to know what the source is of stuff like this because I want to fucking know. A lot of the stuff that's posted out that's of memedom, it's important because meme will create a visceral reaction to an implanted memory that will immediately have you react. Immediately right now, everybody hates sports people because they're kneeling. So immediately somebody used that ingrained hatred to point that fucking meme out, mischaracterizing the meme in itself by using the wrong fucking people. By stating that the whole country would be in mourning if this had been some football team by posting the wrong guys. Memes are life. You know, I don't understand that. And again, I'm losing a slew of fucking friends because I'm just asking, where'd you get this information from? I don't want to fucking spit this shit out. I don't want to, this is bullshit information that I don't want to be going out. And there's no need to be throwing this information out. Well, okay, then it gets turned around to me because, well, then we should remember them. So then why'd you fucking post a meme about somebody who was a football team and he's not the right guys in a boarding craft? Fucking, then the next thing you know, you got the families freaking the fuck. You got the widow of the fucking family of one of the fallen. It's exactly that, Pooks. As an individual, we are in an information war. You damn right we are. We're in a like war, as Peter Singer and August Cole like to say. Fact check your shit. I mean, this is an individual responsibility just going to go off on. I have assisted in the building of memes with some factual content behind it. I work with the WTF Nation with the meme page, and there'll be some memes or something like that, and then they have some more meme admins, and I'll throw a comment out, or I'll throw a post out, or I'm like, hey, what about this? What do you think about that? We'll go back and forth, and we'll refine the meme that has a level of truth to what we're talking about. I.e., there's like what's going on at Fort Hood. Really, right now,
people don't need a fact check. They have Facebook to tell them everything. There's no need to actually look and act like you know what's going on.
Right. I mean, I'm not. Again, why don't we make some fucking memes against the bad guys? Why don't we talk some shit about Russia? Why don't we talk shit about China? Oh, because some of the platforms get pretty butthurt. I'm a fucking patriot, guys, gals. I am not. If you're gonna go all in when it comes to Russia and all in when it comes to China, when it comes to bashing the president, then go all in when you dime them out on fucking Facebook. Then go in all out and don't fucking censor when they get posted on Twitter, or when they get busted out on Parler. Then there's a new like Twitter clone called Parler that A bunch of people are getting banned off of that. Kind of funny, everybody left Twitter because they were getting banned, only to go to Parler and ban people that they don't like, going back and forth about all this stuff. The information war is a good hit there, Poot, because you're right. You are literally getting played. We are getting played. Our government has, in the COVID bill, signed legislation and money going to the F-35 program. What in the hell does that have to do with COVID? How did we build all those freaking hospitals and not one of them were fucking used? Damn, with some hospital ships too. How is it that individuals that were once dying in fucking detention areas in the border were fucking now, well, they were just a respiratory disease? Well, it could have been COVID. Was it Rona? Could have happened a little bit earlier. Why is it the military units are still conducting APFTs and then wondering why the numbers on fucking installations are staggering when it comes to the average? Is the military causing the infection now because we just don't fucking listen to what the commander's guidance is when it comes to the Secretary of the Army when he puts it out and fragos are being thrown out? Literally the inbox is inundated with Lieutenant Colonel CSMs and First Sergeants trying to get away or trying to sneak off. I guarantee it. Any of those individuals want to slam a soldier for getting a court-martial, please he'll go ahead and hit us up in the inbox. We'd be more than happy if I can have all that information of your leadership that had failed in following Army guidance themselves. How could you sit there as a leader and tell your soldiers that you better not do this, you better not do that, but you better not do this, and all of a sudden Army guidance and Army policy and DOD policy come out that say you're not supposed to take an APFT unless you're flagged and you need to have a flag lifted and there's no height and weight. And then all of a sudden, bam. It becomes well, we're just doing this as a test. This is not an APFT. This is a physical assessment entanglement. Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. What does the Secretary of the Army know? Who's he? Who's that guy? Who's the Chief of Staff of the Army, right? Fuck it. We're just going to have... That's why it's funny in the irony that we see on the main pages. We're getting, you guys are fucking just a detriment to the Army, and you guys are talking shit, making the Army look bad. No, motherfucker, you are. You are the one that is making the Army look bad. The Army kind of told you not to do this shit, and you're doing it still. I mean, I don't know what else to say, Flash. In my travels, and I've seen all this stuff, and I have a lot of stuff happening. People say that I've changed, or people say that I've done this. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff that I just don't fucking feel like I have to take anymore. There were some things that have come out that of the military, of the DOD, of the government, of Congress, of what we've seen. I'm like, if you are not voting for anybody else but these two chuckleheads that are running for office right now, I suggest you do it. I suggest you get into politics. I suggest you look into whatever. They're all in the fucking. They're all having their hands in their fucking pocket. Anytime there's a congressional hearing or any kind of congressional testimony, it's not a fucking hearing. It's a fucking joke. You guys want to slam fucking Bill Barr? At least let the motherfucker talk. At least let him talk. It's a hearing, right? That's why he's a hearing. No, you don't cut him off. And can I get my 5 minutes back? How could you have my five?
That pissed me off.
How could you get my 5 minutes? You can't take a 5 minute. You can't take 5 minutes. You can't. Can I get my minutes? Can I get my time back? He's a fucking witness. You're supposed to be giving the witness plenty of time to talk.
Now I know everyone was on Twitter was bashing Jim Jordan because he was going on a tirade, but I was sitting there going, he's got a point. Like, you know, I can't. What I do not like about lots of things, to be honest, but one thing I don't like about politics, especially when it comes to congressional hearings, is the fact that they make this whole thing about bringing witnesses. Like bringing on Bill Barr was, you know, the AG was, you know, such a huge thing for them to do. And then when they did, all they did was bash him. And then instead of letting him actually answer questions, and I love how, and I know it's politics because I know they shape the yes/no questions. And
what do you mean yes no? There was no yes no, dude. There were
several yes. There was something like, do you believe X, Y, and Z? Yes or no? What? And it wasn't. And I'm sitting there going, I'm pretty sure that's not as simple as yes and no. And they're like, oh, so you don't agree?
So you don't agree, right? You don't want to.
Oh, I hated it. Hated it.
Exactly.
And they want to get like, I'm sorry. Like I was telling my wife, I was like, Mama Flash, you know, if I was up there and somebody was asking me and then they cut me off when I'm trying because it's their time, like, why am I here? I would have got up and walked out. Like, why am I here? I got it. It's your time, but it's my time too. And you want to ask me questions. You will sit there and you will let me answer questions, whether you like to hear it or not, because that's what I'm here to do. And I can't stand it. And it's not just Democrats, it's Republicans. They do it all the time. Everyone does it. It's just the most annoying part of congressional hearings, where we actually want to hear, what they did it to Mattis during his when they were, talking to him about Secretary of Defense. The Democrats hit him quite a bit. He was probably one of the lighter people that got messed with, during these Senate confirmation hearings, but they still went after him and they wouldn't let him answer questions. And I'm like, look here, Mad Dog might actually throw something at you. You might want to calm down. Bill Barr is like, it probably like if he breathes too fast, he might give himself his own heart attack. But but still, like he's sitting there getting upset, and they're like, "Well, you need to calm down. I'm reclaiming my time." I'm like, shut the fuck up! You're reclaiming your time. You're being an asshole. Like, let me answer question. And I was like, I'm with Jim Jordan. Let him actually answer questions instead of this yes no or cutting him off or trying to attack him like you're just like you did this. Okay, look, not. I can't stand it. And, I'm like, I didn't learn anything from Bill Barr being up there. Like, nothing new, nothing anything. It was an attack piece because because if you notice, I have, it's August and I've barely seen any kind of presidential ad.
Right.
And I had to remind myself that this year is actually a, presidential election year.
Right.
Right now we should already be having
right.
a debate. We should already be seeing inundated with political ads on the radio, on TV, on Facebook. I haven't seen any because right now campaigning is through these government proceedings and not actually campaigning in the normal sense. Hell, they're still making this big thing about who creepy Uncle Joe picks for the VP. And like, shouldn't you have it's August, dude. Shouldn't you have the VP? I mean, August, September, October. We're 3.5 months away. Maybe a little less, 3.5 months away. Yeah. And you still haven't picked a VP, and we haven't even had a debate. I mean, it's showing that Democrats, Republicans are going. You're just going to vote for who you vote for. Like if you were planning on voting for Joe Biden, then you're going to vote for Joe Biden no matter what happens. The same thing with Donald Trump. You didn't care who was against it. And I think they're just like, we're just looking to save all this money that we have because everyone's set, and I hate that. And I'm looking forward, I pray every time when they do the polls that the Libertarian candidate actually gets on stage and debates them, because I'm so tired of this back and forth politics that I'm looking forward to a third party candidate, and because I've lost faith in both of them. Like hell, they can't even agree on the Heroes Act and the Heels Act from the Senate, and they're so far apart. And I'm sitting there going, cool, but you all are planning on in a week to go on vacation, yet Americans are still having trouble because hey, remember when you said you wanted us to follow your rules? Don't it's social distance. Don't go this. Don't do that. And but keep small business alive. Do this. Go do that. It's like we can't do both. And then there's still lots of people that need help, and we're still pussyfooting around instead of actually doing something. And it's just like the Democrats just are like, we want everything, and the Republicans like, we want to give you nothing. It's like I want to seriously go, can I just mediate? Like, I'm just going to give you my proposal, which would be like half and half, and we'll call it a compromise.
Dude, we even open it up. And that gives us to the next point, dude. It's sports page time.
Lord,
did you want to talk about sports page at all? Or?
I do want to talk about.
Okay, real quick. No. I just want to give a shout out since baseball's back, and I know you're like baseball, but I want to interrupt you for a second. I got a picture of one of my favorite pitchers from the Los Angeles Dodgers. So tell me real quick. Tell me about having with Joe Kelly and why was Joe Kelly suspended?
That was awesome. So if you, like the great Grandmaster Ice said, sports on many levels is back. Will they stay that way? We don't know. Looking at basketball real quick, they've been in a bubble for like the last month and a half and have had no cases. They've all been, down in Disneyland, Florida, have no outside contact, neither staff, and they are, they started actually playing actual games. I think, starting on like Friday. So far, no cases of COVID, and they're doing good. The games have actually been pretty entertaining. It's still weird watching. It's still watching any game a little weird without fans. But basketball's up and running, and the Lakers are looking good. The Raptors are looking good. Hockey's getting ready to start too. Right now they're in there, getting ready, getting warmed up size, because what they're going to do is kind of like college hockey, and they're going to kind of do like a round robin, and then it's going to kind of seed for brackets for the playoffs, and then that'll go to the Stanley Cup. That hopefully will be starting in about a week or so, and I'm looking forward to hockey as well. It still will be kind of weird without some drunk fan banging on the glass ringside. But most importantly to me, baseball is back, as bumpy as ever, because hockey's doing the same thing with the bubble. Basketball, the bubble. Baseball, not so much a bubble. Talking COVID cases, we had a New York Yankee, Aroldis Chapman, came down, got COVID. There was 10 Marlins that got COVID that kind of had to shuffle the schedule, because the Marlins were in Philadelphia playing the Phillies. The Yankees were going to Philadelphia, but because of the COVID, they quarantined everybody. The Yankees had to end up going and playing the Orioles, I think, and the Marlins and Phillies all were kind of quarantined out. Luckily, no Phillies got COVID. Bless them. No staff. They're good to go, so they've started playing again. Actually, Yankees and Phillies are playing right now. Marlins were recovering, but then St. Louis Cardinals have 13 confirmed cases of COVID-19.
Damn.
It's not looking good. Manfred, the commissioner, has said that if teams don't kind of get a handle on their own safety procedures, that it could jeopardize the baseball season. Honestly, I expect the baseball season to get shut down probably in the next couple of weeks if any more teams come up with big cases like this, because there's only a certain amount of days, because they want to keep on the schedule like they would have, like in late October would be the World Series, and I get that. So there's only so many amount of days they can actually do all these games, and there's teams missing games left and right. The Yankees have like 2 doubleheaders in the next over the next week. I think tomorrow's a doubleheader against the Phillies, or Wednesday when they go to Philly. I think it's a doubleheader, and then there's a doubleheader against the Rays to kind of catch up on schedule. Any more of these COVID cases pop up, I don't think they're going to be able to hold on to it. Now,
did they
that
say?
All being said,
did they?
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, but did they say that it was going to be? Because there's nobody. I mean, no offense, but there's like nobody in the fucking stands.
It is so okay. So about the stand, like they're doing their best. There's a lot of staff. There's a lot of people in the stadiums. This isn't, it's because there is no bubble, that there are people coming in and out that are working. They've had some groups of fans, but I tell you what these different stadiums have done to create the illusion of fans is pretty crazy. The Nationals actually had audio from the PlayStation game MLB The Show, which is probably by far the best baseball game there is on the market, and I hate that because I have an Xbox and they don't make it for the Xbox. So they actually pumped audio, and they actually have they have an organist. They had the the sound guy, and I think the sound guy has like one of those drum things with the buttons, because every time they try to pick off at first, there was a boo, there was cheers, there was silent, there the crowd silence type thing. There was so much, they're trying to create the atmosphere. It's pretty cool. The Yankees actually did this weird thing that was kind of throwing me off when I was watching the game. They actually used they CGI'd the fans that are actually from the game, so that you're standing like random computer generated fans in the stadium. So every time there's a foul ball, I'd see fans, and I'm like, okay, this is like, it freaked me out for a good 10 minutes, because I'm like, did they just run from there to there to okay, I'm confused, because they would pull back, and finally I'm like, I kind of paused it, right? It would be so quick that it finally paused. I was like, they're computer generated. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So with all the COVID stuff, let's talk Joe Kelly, because
I got
Joe
that
Kelly,
picture up still.
former of the
I love that. That was awesome. I got the picture up right now. I think it's fucking hilarious.
Joe Kelly, formerly of the Boston Red Sox. He's a relief pitcher. He's pretty good. gotten a couple fights with the Yankees, but hey. So we have to remember that we're coming off the heels of one of the biggest cheating scandals of Major League Baseball, the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros that, while a lot of people got fired and the Houston Astros got fined, none of the players that were part of this, this cheating scandal, who were part of the drumming on trash cans, none of that. Nobody got suspended or anything like that. Whether you agree they should be suspended or not, who cares? But who does care are the major league players
right?
Who feel slighted. Yeah,
yeah.
The fans, whatever, but the players feel slighted, especially players who have competed against the Houston Astros. Lots of people are upset, and they were predicting the Astros were going to get thrown at them. Hell, even at the spring training when we thought the season was going to be a go from the start, Altuve and Bregum and all them were getting booed like crazy. People were going to those games just to boo. It was going to be a harsh road series for the Houston Astros, and probably the best thing that happened to them was a damn pandemic, because people thought, okay, there's less that's going to happen. Bring on Houston Astros versus the the Dodgers. Oh, it was great. Kelly pegs. Damn, I forget who he pegs now.
He didn't peg. He fucking just struck him out. It was not he didn't hit nobody.
Well, first he hit a guy.
Right.
In the same frame, he hit a guy. It was kind of like he lost kind of control of his Aussie pitch, kind of hit him in the side. There's some looks or whatnot. Then there's some chattering from the dugout because they thought it was intentional. It looked like a goof, like just kind of lost control of it. The balls can get pretty slippery on these, so you don't get it right, and all of a sudden your changeup ends up in the guy's back. So next batter comes up. I think it was a 3-2 count, so it was a full count, and he strikes him out in this wicked slider. Watch too much Boston stuff. Wicked slider, and strikes him out swinging. Well, the batter starts chirping at Joe Kelly, and Joe Kelly starts giving him what you see now is the pouty face.
Man, the biscuit lip. Oh, it was fucking hilarious. I saw that. I was like, whoa.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah.
So then Joe Kelly keeps chirping. Joe Kelly's not a big guy either. He's skinny. He's maybe like $160 wet. But he starts chirping at him and pretty much telling him to go fuck off and go sit down, to the point where the Dodgers and Astros benches had cleared, and there's a bit of a tussle over home plate. Luckily, nothing happened. But then the biggest catastrophe, or I won't say catastrophe, the biggest injustice that happened is Joe Kelly, for all he did was give that pouty face and chirp back at I think it's Uriel, chirp back at him, and got suspended 8 games. That's 8 games more than any Houston Astros player who I guarantee was named in this whole trash can cheating scandal got. He got 8 games. It's being appealed because I think 8 games is ridiculous, but it just shows that Manfred is more it's more about protecting the Houston Astros and not protecting the game. So Joe Kelly's serving out 8
oh my God.
Probably like 3 games with that suspension.
What the fuck ever.
I know. It's probably one of the most ridiculous things. Like, I saw it and I thought it was pretty funny. No one likes to be struck out, but there's definitely bad blood between the Dodgers and the Astros, and Joe Kelly's just kind of throwing some gasoline on the fire. Oh God, yeah. So now we've started the 60 game the 60 game sprint to the World Series. It's kind of some teams are doing way better than others. Some teams are just kind of hanging in there. Real quick, let's look at the National League. The Braves, which is one of the teams that people thought was going to be one of the hot teams coming out of the summer training, which they're calling it, coming out with 7 wins, 3 losses, and look great. And no one else in that division are anywhere close. The Mets are 3-7. The Philadelphia Phillies are 1-2, but they've also been on hold, so they have some games to make up. So don't hold them to that. Washington Nationals 3-4, and the Miami Marlins also, kind of been on hold for a bit because they can't keep themselves clean. are 2-1. I expect those numbers to switch eventually, and Miami Marlins are going to be worse. In the Central, Chicago Cubs 7-2, Milwaukee Brewers 3-3, Cincinnati Reds 4-5, St. Louis Cardinals 2-3, and the Pittsburgh Pirates 2-7. Bad pitching for the Reds, Cardinals, and Pirates, and the Cardinals just going down with losing 13 players to COVID. So we'll see how.
God, I can't believe
what
it.
happens.
13 players.
I know.
Holy shit.
And that means their players are going to be tired because they're going to have to pull at least a couple of double headers in order to catch up. That's the big thing about this is we're losing. Every time you lose a game, you lose time. The Phillies lost 8 days. That's at least 5 games there that they have to catch up on. It's kind of crazy. In the West, Colorado Rockies 6-2, Dodgers 7-3, San Diego Padres 6-4, San Francisco Giants 5-5, and the Arizona Diamondbacks 3-7. The West is probably going to be the most competitive division of the National League right now because the Padres, Dodgers, and Rockies all looking good, solid pitching, pretty good hitting, and the Giants are just kind of hanging in there. Some offseason. Trying to see, the Padres are trying to see if like Machado's going to turn out like they're hoping. In Phillies, Bryce Harper's not making much of a dent for the Phillies, but they've got the new manager Joe Girardi, and Didi Gregorius, former of the Yankees, is on his 1-year deal with them to hopefully maybe get a long-term deal later. In the American League, woo! Let's look at the West with the Oakland Athletics. 5-4, Houston Astros 5-4, Seattle Mariners 4-6, Texas Rangers 3-5, and the Angels 3-7. Remember, the Angels signed Mike Trout to this monster deal, and there are talks that somebody out there might be trying to sweeten a deal to get Mike Trout out of Los Angeles, even though he got a monster contract, like nearly $500 million. At the end, I think it's like 10 years.
Can they change? Can they change that? I mean, can it get changed out like that? I mean, is it a?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Yankees, they did that with Giancarlo Stanton. He was with the Marlins.
That's right,
they signed him to this big contract, and the Yankees traded for him. They took up I think about at least 79% of his contract, which means the Marlins still have to pay that other part. Plus, they gave up Stanton, and and the Yankees gave up some prospects or whatnot. A lot of people thought that Derek Jeter is the best Yankee ever. To helping out the Yankees on that. But I mean, it's you could do that. So technically, it would just you trade a player. I think he has a no trade clause. So I think they'd have to go to him like, hey, this is what the deal is. What do you think? And if he says yes, they could do a deal. More likely, if somebody just magically gets Trout, who I know might be one of those players who might be one of the best players never to win a World Series championship. Potentially could want to move out to a competitive team, which means that the Angels will soak up still some of that contract and hopefully get some pieces to move on. But I mean, they got the Trout. Then Houston Astros, they're not looking so good. Here's another story about the Houston Astros, since I have no problem shitting on their name.
The Trastros. What are they calling the Trastros? The Houston Trastros.
They're being called a lot of things right now, a bunch of cheaters and assholes. Anyways, it's fun watching Altuve get picked off left and right.
Exactly.
Trying to steal bases. But when the Astros were playing the Dodgers, one of the, I think it was Altuve, struck out. And one of the announcers goes, he guessed wrong there. And then there's a kind of a silence as they're kind of like they're moving. I think it was like the end of the inning, so they're kind of moving. There's they have some like graphics up, and they're just kind of like showing the players walk off for a little bit before they go to commercial. And one of the other commentators goes, "Guessing's a lot harder than knowing." And I nearly fell out of my seat. If you don't know, this offseason was marred with a scandal that the Houston Astros had a camera in like right center field that was looking at the back of the pitcher, and there was a feed that would go into the dugout. And so there's the dugout, there's kind of like there's stairs, and usually there's kind of like a in-between area, and then you can go down to the actual locker rooms. Well, they were in that in-between area with a TV monitor and trash can, and every time there was going to be an off-speed pitch, and pitchers and a lot of veteran baseball players can tell just by the grip of a ball what kind of ball is coming at them. there's the difference between a 2-seam, a 4-seam, and a knuckleball and a curve and a slider just by how the fingers are. And every time they would bang on this trash can, it would tell the batter that a slider's coming, so they would know what was coming or what wasn't coming. And that became a huge, huge thing. And the Houston Astros are dirty, dirty people. Looking at so the fact that he said that guessing's a lot harder than knowing is pretty much taking a shot.
Yeah, no shit. Well, no, and he's actually not taking a shot. He's actually right. You know what I mean? It's
he's very right.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to guess than to know.
Right.
In the Central, Minnesota Twins off to a hot start with 7-2. Chicago White Sox 5-4. Cleveland Indians 5-4. Detroit Tigers 5-5, and Kansas City Royals 3-7, which is good. In the East, New York Yankees up 7-1. Baltimore Orioles 5-3. Toronto Blue Jays 3-4. Tampa Bay Rays 4-6, and the Boston Red Sox last night finished getting swept by the Yankees in 3 games, are 3-7. Another note: for the first time, it's in the longest time, Aaron Judge has hit 6 home runs in 6 games, which is pretty crazy. I don't think he's hit a home run tonight, so the streak might end, but we'll see what happens. That's the big things coming out of baseball. It's still a lot of. Oh, I guess there is one more that the Players Association and the owners have agreed to do an expanded playoff system this year, adding 2 more teams. So I guess it would go from, I think it would go up to 14 teams or 16 teams. But they pretty much added 2 on each side to give a little, so the teams that might, that are kind of like midway, like, you got Toronto Blue Jays at 3-4, or in the West where you've got a little bit more competition, the West and Central of the AL, like Cleveland Indians and Detroit Tigers and Seattle Mariners that are kind of like in the middle, actually might have a chance to actually get into the playoffs, and anything can anything can happen. So, if you limp it to the playoffs, you might find your stride then. And all of a sudden, we're looking, holy shit, the Texas Rangers are the World Series champions. What the hell happened here? So it is, there's a couple other changes that have happened in baseball. There are, if there's rained out after the 5th inning, there is no startup, meaning they're not going to pick it up the next day. That's ball game. Whoever's winning it has won. If they get into extra innings, they start a person off at second. So to kind of keep the game going, so we don't have like a 17 inning game, because the big thing is, I think they were anticipating that there's going to be a lot of double headers, that there was going to be a lot of they're going to be stressing these players out because, you have a finite time to knock out so many games. They've done, they got rid of, there's no minor league baseball happening right now. They were able to pick like 30 players to put in this player pool that they can draw from. They've started off with a bigger team number, so like I think they had something like 40 people, and they had to 60 people, and they've been kind of slowly dwindling it down. Like I think soon we're going to be at the last step of like the final lineup of people who's on the team, and then everyone else is kind of like in the starting pool, so they can kind of draw from it. They've changed a lot of rules to go from there. Man, I tell you what, I'm glad baseball's here, but every time I see something with COVID and baseball players, like we were talking about,
I know, man.
I love baseball. I love my New York Yankees, but I love baseball. I love the game of baseball. I love the patience. I just love everything about it, the bat flips and everything. What I do not want is to see one person, go down because of COVID, and baseball is not that important where I'm worried. And it's weird because what's happening in baseball is resonating across other sports, other ones that can't just do a bubble, like football. Football is right around the corner. Actually, right now would be the start of training camps. And Odell Beckham Jr., who now former of the New York Giants, now with the Cleveland Browns, is actually been calling out for Roger Goodell to cancel the season. Because saying that players should boycott because they don't, quote, they don't see it, the owners don't see us as humans, unquote. That is talking about the players themselves. There's still speculation because I think with basketball and with hockey, I think you can do a bubble type thing, but I think with football, there's so many people on the team. the field's so dang big, and you need people to be in those stands, and to be people who will work the stadium, and then just the staff that goes along with it. And there's just so much that you can't just go, hey, everyone's going to Annapolis, and here's your training area, and there's your bubble, because you just can't do it. There's a very good chance that we will not see football this year, which is not a bad thing if you're Washington. I can't say if you're a Washington football team.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that's the ultimate in trolling right there. It's almost like
you're a Washington national.
You're just okay. Now we're just a team. It's almost like saying, okay, look, since you want to fucking pick pepper out of fly shit and go and get stupid over the name and who created it and who is the title, even though. Is it true? And this is just asking: is it true that a Blackfoot Indian was the one that created the symbol and blessed off on the symbol for the Redskins? And is that fact? Is that historical context to that?
I think it's either the great grandson or great grandson, because as they were talking about getting rid of it,
right?
He came forward and was like, "No, this is what he wanted. Like this is part of like the legacy and stuff like that. Like this is the thing is based off of an actual Native American." And they talk like the Redskin because during battles they would use clay and stuff to paint their faces red, kind of like why you wear a red shirt in battle, and depending who you are, maybe brown pants. So it's kind of weird. There was speculation that they would pick a new team. A lot of names came out if they were going away from the Redskins, Red Tails, that taking a nod to the Tuskegee Airmen, Warriors. I think Red Fox was on there, but that was a bad joke. The Washington Warriors, Washington Sentinels, bring back Joe Flacco.
Right.
There's lots of stuff. Well, here's the kicker. There's a person in Alexandria, Virginia, which is in Northern Virginia, not too stone's throw away from D.C., who owns the rights to those names, many of those names. I think. We got a little bit of flicker. I wonder if we're gonna lose power. Who owns the rights to like 30 different names? Now, to bolster his claim, he's also made merchandise with these names and stuff like that, with these color palettes and stuff like that. Meaning that if Dan Snyder, the owner of one of the main owner of the Washington football team, they would have to pay out the ass. But here's the kicker: he's actually the guy who owns these names has come out and said, "Hey, I got these names, so nothing would stand in the way of the Washington changing their name," because he apparently, and he's been doing this for years. Getting every time somebody was like, "Oh, here's a name that they could go with," he would actually go and get the rights to that name. Which is genius. Weirdly enough, no one has approached him about getting any of those names, and apparently he's not asking for a lot. And I was telling a friend of mine who's a big Washington fan, I was like, I would ask for, if you really believe that, I would be like, I want two season tickets in the box for the rest of my life, and I want let's just call it $1 million and good to go, which is cheap when you're buying the rights to it. But you have to remember, even if they are changing the name, it takes a long time. Not only do you have to rebrand everything, uniforms and helmets are pretty easy. I think they're just going to go with the number, kind of old school, which is kind of cool. But you got to rebrand all the different what do you call it? All the different memorabilia, all the different swag, everything. Hell, every former Washington Redskin, burger flipper, they got to make those different. They got to pick the different color palettes. How they going to, are they going to adjust the color palettes at all? Are they going to make a mask? Like all this stuff, they got to rebrand the stadium. They got to do all of this. So, it takes some time. And my wife's like, this is ridiculous. Why does it take so long? I was like, well, it takes some time. So that's why they went the Washington football team. So if they're lucky, COVID will shut down the season and they won't have to be they have a whole season to figure out the name and to go from there. But right now, the New York, there's very well the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, and Philadelphia Eagles very well could be facing the Washington National football team. The lamest shit in the world.
Of one each. Of excellence. That's how stupid it's gotten.
Excellence, damn it.
This what's got me pissed off is that now it's now to the point to where who are the adjudicators of the who are the adjudicators of what is right and what is wrong? Do you know what I mean? What's the fucking, what am I going to look at? What is someone going to look at when it comes to I don't have a name to do that. So it's not like, okay, fine, we're just going to be called the Washington team, because you have now made it so fucking. I was going back earlier about what I said about the level of sensitivity with academia, and me not attending K-State for at the moment. It was a reasonable person. Like I can talk to any of you guys and some of the friends. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's not like that. I can have a reasonable conversation with individuals in my small circle, and we know the context to which we're speaking at. We can have a disagreement to what we're talking about. There is some leanings of political / moralistic when it comes to that, but we're generally the same in centers. I've taken all the. It was kind of funny. I took a bunch of fucking, talking to some of my psychology friends and some of my, I do like to read a lot of books, and when it comes to the type of mentality of theories and all that, I've been really getting into science and artificial intelligence and all that lately. It's been fucking fascinating. And it's just funny that we have to get to the point where I almost feel like we have to dumb down people. It's like I feel like when I'm talking to someone, I have to on the outer rim, not within my circle, that I have to down the outer rim, like we're in Star Wars. I have to dumb down myself, and I shouldn't have to. I should be able to speak to what I'm speaking to a reasonable person, because academia is supposed to be that way. Academia is supposed to be something where minds flourish, where minds and thought process are given the freedoms and the intellectuality. You're supposed to be given some sort of intellect and be mentored by professors who are the experts in all this. Not be able to silence that said professor. Other schools that I was looking at interesting, and there was a professor that I was looking to talk to. I was told, I'm not going to name the school. They asked that I didn't name the school, but they can't talk. Like they get. I really wish I could help you with this, but I can't, because if I say something and it's written down or whatever, and I'm like, look, anytime you talk to anybody from WTF Nation Radio, somebody every 10 months, there is a non-disclosure agreement that we have, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, cool. It'll cost me my job if I fucking do this, so we're just as beneficial of getting screwed over. Anyway, so, and that's the whole thing, is that there's some academia. It's hard for me to want to learn. It's hard for me to where now it's the butthurtness of Washington team. The Washington team. We are now.
If you look on ESPN,
it's right a troll, now, dude. It's a fucking troll.
If you look on NFL, it says Washington, and has no logo. Like
right.
It has like a
right.
default, like you would do on fantasy football
right.
logo, and it is the most ridiculous thing, But they've been going at Washington for the longest time, and it's funny enough. Other sports teams like the Atlanta Braves actually have been in conversations with Native American groups, local Native American groups about that. People cite the Florida Seminoles, but you have to remember that Florida Seminoles actually came to an agreement with the Florida Seminoles tribe, and actually came to an agreement on the colors, how they do the this kind of the pageantry, the college football pageantry and stuff like that. So people go after Florida Seminoles. It's like Florida Seminoles already went like no, they're good. You have like the Cleveland Indians. They're going to be changing. Not only they stopped using their red-faced logo that they usually do, but potentially could be changing their name as well. And if I think the Braves have the right idea, the same, kind of taking what the Florida Seminoles did and actually have a dialogue with these Native American tribes. There's many, from what stories I've heard, it's weirdly enough, it's the millennial Native Americans that seem to be putting up a bigger fuss about this. But if it's something that it's part of their culture, I mean, I'd feel weird. I guess I'd feel a little weird if they were like the Washington drunken Irishmen. It's like, oh man, we didn't just drink, we made potatoes, but still. I think having these dialogues is probably the best things for these sports teams to avoid the battering that is the Washington Redskins, which I think is, I think that is if you're offended, the most probably for me the most offensive-ish name would be the Washington Redskins. Even though if you don't know where it comes from, it doesn't. No, it's so offensive if you don't know where it comes from. If you know where it comes from, it's like okay, it's kind of cool that they did that. But then you have the Cleveland Indians, Chief Wahoo, which is like, that's not good. But, we're going to have to evolve, and, I think there's some of these things are just like you kowtowing instead of doing it on your own time. But I also agree. I think the Washington Redskins, should I would hope they would come to their own conclusion, not be forced to do it.
It just looks like you're trolling the people that you were trying to appease. It's what makes it. It's kind of like, okay, fine, you didn't like that. Okay, we're just gonna call it the Washington teams. It's like,
see, I think they should have went back and did what because when like Joe Jacoby era of the Washington Redskins, I think they should go back to they were known as like the Hogs and whatnot. I was like, hell, I was telling my buddy, I said Washington Hogs. Go back, hit those 80s roots because God, they could use some help to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I'm just like,
hey, Washington Sentinels.
What?
I will buy a Joe Flacco jersey. I'm just saying, I will buy it. But it's going to be interesting to see how they fix this situation. Long story short, because we're pretty much at the end of our show, that sports is back in some kind of capacity, and hopefully the teams do these organizations do the best to keep these players safe. As much as I love football, and this year's been weird not seeing or we would have already had NHL and NBA playoffs and championships by now. Little League World Series, college, we missed March Madness and all kinds of college sports. I do believe that I would rather have people safe than have sports because, I could always play Madden, which I did pre-order the new Madden 2021, and I'm very excited about it. I can always find sports on my Xbox. You can't replace these players, and you can't replace them with their families if the worst was to happen. So if you're hating because there's no sports, well, guess what? Wear a mask and calm the fuck down.
Starting in Washington lobbyists, exactly.
Man.
Okay.
I could ruin Washington if they let me in.
All right.
Mr. Flash. Hey, look here. Fuck you. No. You and your mom. Fuck you too.
Oh, really?
You mess with the great state of Texas and you know people try to take my time. I reclaim my time.
I reclaim my time.
I reclaim my time.
Reclaim my time. Oh, man.
I just go out of the son of a woman. You're all out of order. This whole place is out of order. This is a Denny's, sir.
Can I get my... This is a Wendy's.
It's all out of order.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, we're shooting this shit a little bit longer. I figured since you guys were, since it's been a while since I've been back, I can hang out for a little bit longer. Can you hang out a little bit longer, Flash? You got a little bit?
Time.
Okay. All right. So now that we've covered the sports page a little bit, we can go into some other stuff too. Pretty soon, I would say in about a week or so, maybe a couple of weeks, we're going to go into what we call the WTF Nation Decides 2020. And it's basically going to be, we're going to turn our station, the WTF Nation Radio, is going to be the hub for campaigning in the election and what you, the American people and the WTF Nation and the veteran community to decide to help you. We have lined up already, and this is no shit, and I'm not bullshitting, joking around. We have lined up for on 10 August. We have the vice presidential candidate Spike Cohen of the Libertarian Party. He is the running mate for Joe Jorgensen. Okay. Hopefully we're gonna get both of them on together and all that. But for right now, we got Spike Cohen coming on Monday the 10th. I'm also, part of my trip that I was doing, traveling up and down and meeting people, I'm also going to be working with members of pollsters to go up and down polls and go up and down discussing some of the polling that's going on currently with American people. I'm also going to be talking to the pro people that are for Trump, the pro people that are for Biden, the anti-Trumps, and the anti-Bidens. We're going to turn WTF Nation Radio into your place, your one-stop shop for you to decide on your own. And of course, you know, we are going to troll everybody. Everyone's going to get trolled. Everyone's going to have some fun on this. And so I think going at that route will assist everyone into looking at getting the getting their own decisions down. We're not gonna, and of course you guys know how we interview. We know how we ask questions. There is no, we don't pull punches when it comes to some of the interviews. Anybody who is a political candidate or somebody who is part of their of a cabinet, they're not going to get questions like the standard typical WTF Nation Radio SOP. They don't get questions, but they're also not going to be given a gotcha game either, and it's not going to be something that's going to be a sign of disrespect to them. When we get them on here, we're going to have Bender the Destructor 2020 kill all humans. We're not going to be disrespecting them. So if we have members of the Trump campaign, we're not going to disrespect them. We're going to let them talk. If we have members of the Biden campaign, we're not going to disrespect them. We have Joe Jorgensen and we have Spike coming on. We're not going to disrespect them. We're going to have pollsters from the Biden. We're going to have, you know, I'm thinking about maybe getting the Lincoln Project to come on here. I'm thinking about maybe getting some of the other PACs to come on. As a matter of fact, I would like to even see maybe members of the GOP and the DNC coming on here, because I've not seen a lick of shit that any of them have done for any of their constituents and parties other than bash each other and all that. I have not seen any of these parties discuss some of the initiatives that they were going to do for veterans and their families. I'm not seeing anything that they want to do about legalizing, cannabinoids and medicinal marijuana for veterans. I've not seen any of that stuff. All I've seen is that we're going to do great. These things are good. This is what's going to happen. So I'm inviting right now everybody of the political arena to come out and shoot the Three Cletus 2020. You damn right. Sponsored by Three Cletus. William Wallace is Three Cletus. Maybe maybe we should do that. Maybe I should have fucking Warhol work up some graphics to that stuff. So again, it's going to be heated. It's going to be tense. There's going to be some passion and drama. The stake of our country depends on you going out and voting. I'm just going to drop my political comment for right now, and it's going to piss a lot of people off. If it's okay for us to have a fucking protest and have some concerts and shit like that, or have some church gatherings or whatever, then it's okay for us to vote. However, I voted mail-in before. Absentee ballot and mail-in voting is the same thing. I've voted that way. I've got a ballot, absentee ballot in the mail. That's how you get an absentee.
I've got 2 absentees.
And that's how you get them. You get them in the mail. That's how they happen. And you get an absentee ballot in the mail, then that's what you fill it out, and you fill out who you're going to vote for, and you seal it, and you sign the back of it, and then you drop it in the mailbox, and then it goes, and it's done. You have mailed absentee, and it's done by the mail. When everyone talks about how fraud and all this other shit, and we're talking about parties going against and for, I didn't really see anybody freaking. Look, I didn't really see anybody, I don't know, pitching a fit when that means that all the soldiers and veterans, all the soldiers that are deployed overseas, when they voted absentee ballot, you mean to tell me that the vote didn't count? You mean to tell me that that's not what happened? I mean, I kind of see it that way, that we need to. It goes right back to the hypocrisy of how it is when it comes to wearing masks and not wearing masks. The initial CDC guidance was what? You wear a mask. If you cannot help get within 6 feet of each other, then you have to mask up. Then you can get as close as you can. You're seeing pictures of videos and pictures of people with their masks on, standing hand in hand. So why not open the polls? If the other party and the Republican Party and the Trump administrations were so worried about this, let's open the polls even longer. Why does a poll on election day have to be open a specific amount of time? Open it up at midnight on election day, and close it up on midnight for the following day, and that's it. Do the returns that way. We have sat and assisted other countries voting, Iraq, and assisted them in their voting processes, set up and observe polling stations and all that. And you mean to fucking tell me that this is difficult for us? We have to Matt Damon this crap all the way through? So Lincoln Project, if you're out there, we'd like to get you on. Any PAC that wants to discuss, or I don't want to say a PAC because a PAC is kind of like but anybody from the administrations that want to come on, shoot the shit with us, we'd be more than happy to open it up. Once you start seeing some of our colors, you'll see our banners on our pages change. You'll see a lot of the description of what we're doing and who we're going to have on. I'm really excited to have Spike coming on here, man. I mean, Because you know, Spike coming on here means that you know, JoJo's going to come on. Everyone's is it proper to call her JoJo? Am I disrespecting by calling her JoJo? I mean, is that I don't want to disrespect.
I don't think she'd care too much, but actually, she was in Washington D.C. today. A friend of mine actually posted a picture standing with her, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I think personally, I'm not going to fucking bash on people that want to have a good discourse or have a good civil because I'll be honest with you, all civility has gone from all the parties, all of them. You know what I'm talking about? I clutch pearls when I hear people go, and you talk shit about the president or you talk about Congress acting a certain way. You know, we're talking about the president being a savage and he's a dick and all that stuff, but then I see congressional people doing the same shit. They tell about the president, you fight fire with fire and all that civility crap and all that. How come we don't have any fucking, like you said, any debates? How come we don't have any,
They haven't agreed because I guess Donald Trump wants 3, Joe Biden wants 2. And I'm like, just knock them out. Let's hear this forgetful and, you know, I don't know how to talk thing. Let's just do it.
Yeah. I don't want to fucking, I don't want to be dead horse. Y'all can come on. I'm more than happy. Once you start seeing the stuff, I'll tweet it out. We will post it out on Facebook. You know, we all have Twitter accounts. So some of us are starting to ramp up and get the Twitterage at WTFNationRadio.com on Twitter, and you'll start seeing some information coming out. Like this podcast right now. We're on air. We're shooting shit. So that's some of the announcement. One of the announcements that we're going to be election headquarters just for the election. We don't have any. As a matter of fact, anybody who is of the WTF Nation Radio staff that they're voting for whatever, we're all cool who we vote with. We're all cool who we're not going to vote with. We're not going to bash each other because that's the way it's supposed to be. It's a different, you know, it's a republic. We're supposed to have that choice and not have to worry about it. Mama Joe's everyone's saying Mama Joe's the proper nomenclature. Okay. But again, it's like freaking the way I see it. It's a win-win for everybody. Everybody can come in and look at a centralized area to come talk, and so I'm excited about it. I just want to say real quick to everybody that was manning the mics and pushing the airwaves, especially Cause and especially Al and especially CQ and Radar for doing the out front stuff, and then looking at you know, Mom and Spanky and Cause and Shipwreck and you know, the Borg and freaking Warhol and all the social media team with Mud Puppy and all that, all of us freaking all of you guys that were helping the station run while I was gone. I literally have had people like worried that I wasn't gonna come back, and I'm like, no guys, I'm coming back. Trust me, I'm coming back. You too, Flash. You've been rocking the fucking PAO stuff, man. And Jim Cannon giving us support. He is our WTF Nation Radio member. And it just, again, it was just, I appreciate everyone kind of like rocking and rolling the stuff. That it made me feel, I felt confident that when I saw the mics coming up or there were some issues or there was something that would come on the air, that you guys were able to rock and roll. And I'm just proud of all of you guys being part of this fucking team. And what I don't want to do is I don't want you guys to think that what you did was for nothing. When you guys were busting hump and you guys were rocking it, you guys were knocking out of the fucking park, and that was greatly appreciated. A lot of wins, man. I see a lot of wins. I don't foresee us getting anything but I foresee us getting bigger. I don't foresee us getting smaller, if that makes any sense. But anyways, I guess we can finally fucking do some freaking house cleaning. All right.
People are coming on the show. Make sure you watch.
Yeah, people are coming. So we had Chris Bohm from Bayonet X-Ray coming on. Yes, he was on yesterday with Cause Now, and it was great listening to him talking and talking about holistic reintegration in the society. And I'm glad those two. I was listening to the show because, you know, I've been listening while I was when I was on the Mountain of Zen. I was listening to a lot of Owl stuff, and then of course, obviously, when CQ had his big guest Rod Lurie from The Outpost. You see that movie, The Outpost, bro? God,
I still haven't. I'm still missing lots of movies. Like I still
Bro,
haven't
you gotta watch
I
that
watched
stuff.
Greyhound. That was on
was
Apple
good.
TV.
Yep.
With Tom Hanks.
I saw that way in the
now a
back.
Greek Citizen.
Yeah,
that was an awesome
Greek
movie.
Citizen.
I still haven't seen Dunkirk 1917, and I haven't seen The Outpost yet.
Okay. Well, again, shout out to the guys for doing that. That was good work on CQ. He's going to have Chad Sabor coming on tomorrow. The president of the is it Sabor? Anyways, I'll have to make sure you got the name right there. The Veterans Housing Organization. The Veterans Housing Organization is uniquely equipped to donate cash to every veteran active service member when buying, renting, or selling real estate. We understand that buying, selling, and renting property can be very stressful, especially for our current members. No matter what state of the country, the Veterans Housing Organization walks veterans through the real estate process and pairs them with a qualified real estate agent and monitors the transition. That's freaking bonus, dude. I mean, what the hell? How can we can't? This is like helping the fucking vets out. No matter what, there is nothing better than putting money in the hands of these men and women. Whether buying, renting, or selling property, the process can financially take its toll, and it's our privilege to ease the burden for our nation of our nation's hero. That's fucking awesome. And then we have Allison T coming from Roses on Red. She's back coming on again. This will be like her third appearance, I think. Lead singer Allison from Roses on Red will be back on to talk about their latest music video, The Ugly Truth, released. The Roses on Red rock bands from Jackson, Tennessee, and they won in 2018 the Best Metal Band in the Tennessee Music Awards and Best Rock Group in the Jackson Music Awards. That's pretty cool. And of course, the following Monday we have Spike. We have VP candidate, vice presidential. That sounds better when I say it like that. Vice presidential candidate, Vice presidential candidate Spike Cohen of the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party.
Libertarians a little farther ahead than the Democrats are with an actual, vice president pick.
Oh my God, yeah, I know. At least they have one. Is D. Treasy, is he still going to have Pence with him? Do we know?
People have speculated that he would change, but I think they're sticking with Pence just because of his ties with Indiana and stuff like that. That might serve him well in the Midwest.
Okay. 11 August on Tuesday with the Pop Culture Warrior, we have Jerry Gassil, filmmaker, graphic artist, and writer, video vlogger, and illustrator, will be on the show to talk about his latest work. An official cover artist for Warrior Publishing. He is a Army veteran. Was an Army combat medic during the first Gulf War, which is the anniversary of the Gulf War, by the way. With Medic Platoon, HSC 170th Infantry Regiment, 29th Infantry Division, Fort A.B. Hill, and later the 308th Med Ambulance out of McClellan Air Force Base. That's what's going on for the next 2 weeks. Oh, we got some sneakies too. You guys ever read the book? You guys understand about AI and stuff like that? We have Peter Singer and August Cole, one of my favorite authors. Remember I was talking about some of the artificial intelligence and robotic revolution shit? They're gonna come on and talk about their book Burn In. I'm reading the book right now, and I'm just eating it up. I'm just eating it up. It's an awesome book so far. It's just a nonstop event. This is something that needs to be made into a freaking movie, because it's awesome. I don't know. I'm just into the tech. I'm into the way AI works. WTF Nation Radio, U.S. Army WTF Moments runs on AI. Believe it or not, there is some AI stuff that we use. So that's pretty awesome. I'm just excited. You got anything else you want to say? Something, Flash? You got anything you want to say or whatever?
I'm just glad you're back, because I missed being on the airwaves, and we got a lot of stuff coming up. There's so much happening that we're gonna have a little bit more. I was telling my wife, she was like, "What are you going to talk about?" I said, Ice, he just wants to talk about himself. But no, I'm looking forward to continuing on with this awesome show and talking about the news and information that's happening in our daily lives, and cutting through some of the bullshit to give you the down and dirty of what's going on.
Exactly.
It gets me going, thinking that I'm going to tell people that they're stupid as shit.
It just feels good being back on the mic, and I know you guys. I know you guys and gals were worried about me, wondering how I was doing and all that. But just to let you know, obviously, I had to take a break. So as far as my health goes, that's another thing. We'll get into that further story, because I'm thinking about doing some doing some Facebook lives or doing some stuff like that about what's been going on with me. The kid's okay. All right, baby Ice is fine. He is rocking and rolling. He is getting on my. He's a boy. He's a little boy, man. I'm telling you. He has picked up some while we're doing some video. I'm doing some audio books while we're on the road up and down the coast. He had said some things that I was kind of like, whoa. I guess I need to go ahead and wait till he's asleep before I freaking before I play this audio book. But anyways. You guys, thank you so much for coming on. And if you don't have anything for me, y'all have a good one. Y'all take it easy. Night. Shouts.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport, now sit back, relax, and watch us through the hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet of America. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. We'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear all manly voices singing Space Force strong. Though critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Space Force, Space Force. We'll intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.